Are we centered enough? Cool. Your head's right in front of that plant. Maybe we'll put it here. I wanted to give the shelf a little pizzazz, you know? Is that recording? Yes. Jeff's got a new hat. We call him New Hat Jeff.
NHJ.
NHJ. What is it? A Hornets hat?
No.
Nuggets. Denver Nuggets.
Denver Nuggets.
It's yellow and it has rainbows on it. Ta-da! Hello everyone and welcome back to Foster the Meeple, a channel all about
board games.
And
board gamey things.
Exactly. We're here today to do an episode of Pumped Up Kickstarters. That's what we're doing. You got eye bugs.
We are?
Yeah. It's a Kickstarter, so it has to be.
But normally we do a bunch of Kickstarters.
No, the Pumped Up Kickstarter series, Jeff, is just whatever we want it to be.
Oh.
I have a really cool idea for the intro, too. And in today's episode of Pumped Up Kickstarters, we are going to be talking about an upcoming release called Almost Innocent. Almost Innocent from Kolossal Games. It is designed by Philippe Attali and Satoshi Matsura is the artist. This is a prototype copy that was sent to us from Kolossal. Nothing on the back. So thank you to Kolossal for sending this to us for review. Now, we are not going to do our standard done well, do better format. Why? No. Tell the people why.
Because this is a prototype, as I just mentioned. It's just, in my opinion, not fair to fully judge a prototype because it's not final form yet. There's lots of work, obviously, for the box art, components that are in the game, that sort of thing. We thought this would be a better format in order to showcase this so that you can make your own decisions, check out their Kickstarter page, see if it's something you enjoy, and go from there.
Precisely. So in today's video, we are going to do a bit of an overview of the game, and then we are going to give our thoughts on what we have experienced so far. With this prototype, we received 3 prologue scenarios. Almost Innocent is a scenario-based game. You are going to go through a book that has different stories and different setups. And Almost Innocent is coming to Kickstarter on August 30th, so that is approaching very soon. Let's get into a little bit more about Almost Innocent, shall we? We shall. Almost Innocent is a cooperative deduction game with a progressive story in which your teammates must work together across different scenarios to prove your innocence. In this game, each member is going to have a screen to hide all of their information. It comes with 4 characters, and the specific characters that you pick don't really change the game at all. It's just whichever one you think is the cutest or the coolest.
Yeah. I mean, at least right now. I don't know if that'll change.
That's right, at least right now. Please take everything we say with a grain of salt. So every player is going to get a screen. They're also going to get a sheet of paper that you're able to write some clues on. Now, this game is a deduction game, logic puzzle, and really what you're doing is you're just trying to prove your innocence. So I think maybe the best way to start before we actually get into briefly how the game plays, I'd like to read the first prologue story.
Sure.
It doesn't spoil anything, but I think it'll give you a pretty good idea of what the game is like. So in the prologue, scenario 1, it's called A Tavern in Turmoil. Yikes. Here's how it goes. You enjoy a cup of spicy tea in the local tavern. Suddenly, the door closes with a shut. The tavern keeper is in a rage. Someone has been causing mischief in the quarter all day, and he is convinced it was someone within his own tavern. He does not let anyone leave who cannot show him evidence of their innocence. You look around. You don't know anyone here, but some faces look more helpful than others. Quickly you notice you must help each other if you want to see the light of day again. So, basically what that means is you are trying to prove your innocence, but you can't do that without the help of some friends.
So in Almost Innocence, what's going to happen is you have a grid. And on that grid are different clues, which might be a weapon, a victim, where it happened, victim scene, evidence, and the crime. And ultimately, you're trying to help the person next to you, to your left, solve their problem, prove their innocence. So on that grid, there's rows and columns, obviously. And depending on the level of gameplay you choose, whether it be easy, standard, or
Master,
you're going to get a certain set of clues that you're allowed to ask. And those clues come in the form of 2 questions. You can either ask, do I have anything in row A or row 3 column A or column B, etc., etc. You can choose a column or a row and say, do I have any clues in this section? The person to your left is going to answer that question for you because they have your information.
The person to your right, because they're answering for the person to your left.
The person to the right has your information, so they're going to answer for you. So everyone to the left of you is who you're going to answer for.
Yeah. So if we were sitting in this setup, I would know all of Jeff's answers, and he wouldn't know mine, but I would know his. So I am trying to help him.
And I would know the person next to me on the left.
Exactly. In a 2-player game, though, you would know mine and I would know yours.
When you ask that question, you can also ask, do I have a specific thing in this row or column that I'm so choosing? You know, you could say, is my crime in column D? And then the person, it's a yes or no question in that instance.
Yeah.
If you ask how many, obviously it'd be 1, 2, 3, whatever the answer is. And that's basically the game. You're going to keep going around and around until you run out of clues. You do have the ability to get one wrong. There is like a innocence token.
Yeah.
So if you get a question wrong, you can flip that, because as soon as you're wrong, you're wrong. Game's over.
Yeah. On the master level, you don't get any innocence tokens. It's not very forgiving. On the easy mode, you can be wrong twice. On the standard mode, you could be wrong once. And that phase happens at the end of what Jeff just explained. So once everybody's like, okay, I'm good. We've asked all of our clues. I think I have my answers. You might be good and you might not be good. Then you go around one at a time and everybody will tell you who their victim is. Which is a really cool thing, because instead of all doing it at once, let's say Jeff got his victim right. We played with Tyler and Ilya, so let's say Jeff got his right, Ilya got his right, Tyler got his right, but Tyler said the victim that I thought was my victim. So that's going to give me a minute to be like, okay, just hold up. I need to rejig some stuff because clearly I've got something wrong here. So you kind of go through that and you go through all of the 4 things. And if everybody gets it right, that's great. And you move on to the next scenario. That is like literally the game. It is a logic puzzle. It can be like, you can think you've got everything right and you have nothing right because you've been led down a wrong path. Not on purpose, but just because sometimes you're like, oh, I've got this, because it's like you're deducing. It's a process of elimination.
I think the problem comes in when you make those leaps in logic.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, this thing, so that must mean this thing is not me.
Right.
And you cross it off, and then it actually is that thing, and you get all bonked up. The beauty of this game is everyone's writing down the same clues, so you can kind of backtrack a bit and be like, all right, I've done something wrong here. Let's backtrack so that I can go through again and see where I made my error, which has happened to us numerous times. This may seem like it's an easy puzzle, but it's not. Especially as you go along in the scenarios, they get more and more difficult.
Yeah, more things get added. So like an offender character gets added. There's also, in the 3rd scenario we played, there's a mouse token, which I believe is going to be a queen in the final game. And they block off certain rows and columns that you can ask about. But it gets progressively a little bit more difficult as the scenarios go.
And again, like, keep in mind, we were provided 3 pre-log scenarios. So I don't know how difficult these will get, but I'm curious.
I'm excited.
Because it ramps pretty good.
She ramps.
Even in the 3 that we played. But it's a very simple game. I mean, very easy to get to the table and play. Easy
to learn, hard to master.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it.
Same. We did play all 3 of the pre-log scenarios. We played those at 4 players. We've also played the game at 2 players. Would you say it was more difficult at 2 players?
No, I don't feel like it really changed at all.
Me either.
Which I think is a cool thing. I was concerned at how it would play at 2.
I'd say my preference was at 4, though.
Yeah, and more so just because
of the table talk.
Table talk and that presence and stuff. But again, like, keep in mind, we are biased to 2-player, and maybe we have some blinders on for some of the 2-player errors, because that's just the normal player count that we have. But I didn't notice anything that changed literally anything for me.
So I'd say overall, we both really enjoyed this game, which is interesting because it's not generally the type of game. I mean, I think I prefer it maybe a little bit more than Jeff, but I loved the theme of it.
Yeah, the artwork's incredible.
The artwork is incredible. You may recognize this artwork from Hidden Leaders.
Yeah, I mean, to Jamie's point, this is not normally the type of game that I would gravitate towards. Deduction, logic, puzzle stuff normally isn't something that I'm super keen to play. And even before we played this, I was like, I don't know.
Sure.
I was like, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this. And then we played it. And after the first one, I felt kind of silly and dumb, which is a trigger of mine. Then we played it again, and I was like, okay, I'm starting to roll with it now. And then by the second, third game, I was like, okay, I'm really into this. I think it's simple enough that you could play with people of multiple ages, and I think adults are still going to have fun figuring out the logic that you have to figure out in this game.
It gives really great moments during that final reveal round, because like we were playing with Tyler and Ilya, and there was one round where Ilya's like, I am 100% confident that I know everything. I know that I know mine. And then sure enough, something comes up and he misplaced one, and he's like, oh no. And I did want to say as well, something we didn't mention, but as the scenarios go, some of the icons are actually going to take up 2 spaces instead of 1.
Because it's taking up 2 blocks, but it is technically one thing. Those little logic things come into play when you're playing the game. I'm excited.
I'm very excited for the final copy. So as I mentioned before, this is coming out to Kickstarter on August 30th. I will make sure to put all of the information, the links and everything below, so you can go now and you can follow it and save it if it's something that you think sounds interesting to you. We really enjoyed it. Very excited to see what the final product is going to be.
And thank you again to Kolossal Games for allowing us the opportunity to show this to you. I'm super excited.
Me too. And I think that's all that we have for the video today. If you're interested in buying games, not this one, you got to get this one on Kickstarter
right now.
For now. But you're interested in buying other games, you should first start by checking your friendly local gaming store. And for us, that is
Boardroom Game Cafe.
Yes, it is. That's all we have. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see,
please subscribe.
We hope to see you again soon. And now we say goodbye. Goodbye.
Later days.
Okay, I'm just going to go over and step on it. Okay?
What am I doing?
Walk up with me. Ready?
Okay.
Go. And then, there's a freaking leaf in the way. Go away. Then I do this, and we go like this. Where'd you go?
Oh, you needed me again?
Yeah.
It's like we're off center.
Well, it's because I kicked it too hard. These will be good bloopers. What the heck is that thing?
Jesus.
What is it?
Oh. God damn it.
Remember how I said before on TikTok where there's like people put the phone down and they pretend to like kick it, and then when they take their foot away, you're either wearing something different, or we could be like, do this and pull the game out. Wouldn't that be cool? Because it's a pumped up Kickstarter and then we're kicking it. Yeah? Let's do that. Okay, maybe it's too rainy today. Where was I? Do you think that's Philip or Philippe?
Philippe.
It wasn't me.
I'll have some soda. It wasn't me. Said the words I told her. It wasn't me. Her screams getting louder. It wasn't me. Said it really was over. It wasn't me. Do you have any more words? Probably. She called me red-handed, dancing with the girl next door. Because it's real about that naked, banging on the bathroom floor. How could I forget that I had given her an extra key? All this time she was standing there, she never took her eyes off me.